Welcome, 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 welcome. Tuesday Talks, episode 70. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. Waiting to see if anyone's getting on. I debated going live today. Just wasn't sure about it, if it was a good idea. And then right now I'm feeling a little sick because I was eating too fast and it made my stomach sick. And I never eat fast, which is weird. Yeah, I don't eat fast. And I was eating too fast and it made me sick. So I just feel like, chunking up everything I ate. It's just left a. And I know now to just eat at the normal pace in which I always eat. That's for sure. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't very sure about going live today. But I'm here. And excuse me, I might stay on for the full hour. I might not. I don't know. I really don't feel good right now. Yeah. Hey, Sherry. How are you doing? You're in the garden? Awesome. I wish I knew how to grow a garden, but no green thumbs over here. None. None at all. For the past few weeks, I've been doing all of my recording all of my videos at once, and the drawback to that is that I sometimes feel like I still want to go plan, you know what I mean? So it's just like, but you've already planned everything. But I still feel like I want to plan. I guess because it's kind of, relaxing and everything. Yeah. I just ate too fast. That's what it was. I didn't even get to finish my food because I ate too fast. So I was like, hey, Desiree, how are you? I know right now these are really crazy, trying times for everybody. And I think I'm gonna have to take a social media break. Seriously, just because I don't watch the news, but social media has become the news. And so it's just oh goodness, that is so much work I need to do. Yeah. Driving home from work. Be careful. Safe travels. Yeah, I missed I found the last couple of weeks that throughout the week I'm missing recording, which I was like dreading it before because I'm like, man, I worked all day. I got to go home. I got to record. And so I start forcing myself to start planning out what themes, what and or colors or whatever I was going to do for every one of my planners for the whole month. And I did that for May, and I've already done that for June. Um, and I have been for the last few weeks doing very well at filming everything at once. Now, I haven't been doing good at editing and scheduling everything. And I think I can get better with that after this week since I won't have work. Um, but that's the other thing I need to work on. Not only filming everything, but taking another day and just like editing and scheduling everything. I think that would really help. That way, because I'm still like every day having to go in and edit and schedule something. Hey, Nyleave. Hey, Ras. How you girls doing? Happy birthday again, Nyleave. Nyleave is the birthday girl. Taking a break. Yeah, you've been putting in some work, girl. You've been putting in some work. I am using right now 4 planners. I have like 6, but I'm using 4. I have my gratitude journal that I haven't really been using, and I need to start using that again. That's the first Planners Anonymous Traveler's Notebook that I got. And then I'm going to take that latest Traveler's Notebook that I got and make it like a reading journal, book journal, book journal, I guess. But I need to set that up. So I'll probably try and set that up maybe next week. And then I have the other like traveler's notebook I got, but I'm actually going to be using that one as a wallet. And I need to set that one up as well. So I'll probably film the setup of that one this week. But I am using them all. I have my big happy planner, which is my catch-all. I have my Happinichi, which is my on the go, which I've been using right now as like a mood tracker. Then I have my Fitness Bujo planner, and then I have my social media planner. And all 4 of those are being used regularly right now. But I really need to start getting back into doing my gratitude journal. Yeah, because I bought it and it's just kind of sitting there. So I need to use it. Minneapolis Scoop. I saw that, Nyleave. I saw that. Like, what's taking them so long to arrest those other officers and actually change those charges? Because the charge they gave is not sufficient. Not at all. It's crazy. I mean, it's not that difficult. And people don't want you to just arrest and claim to charge. People want to see the arrest, the indictment, the charge, the conviction, and a justful punishment. Exactly. Yeah, watching all of this stuff, I can't lie. It has been very draining of the spirit. Like, I'm not gonna even lie. Like, It's just so much, and it's just like, oh goodness. I'm not sure. Oh, you live in St. Paul. Okay. Yeah, it's just too much. I mean, that's the simplest way for me to say it. It's just too much. And so, like, all of that's going on. And then I have all the stuff going on with work. And then the two together is just like too much. Too much. So I'll be glad when this week is over. We still have training we have to do that's required. And I'm going to try to get that training done like before this week is over because I'm sorry, I need a break and I'm not going to spend my summer working. Like, I'm just not going to do that. Not going to do that. Although I had to make escape plans too. Wow. Wow. That is crazy. But all these different little groups have been going and causing all kinds of problems in the different peaceful protests. They did the same thing here in San Antonio. Here in San Antonio, we had like a very peaceful protest. And as soon as it was over, we had people that were not even from here start causing all these issues downtown. Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. So I'm going to try and get my training done. They said we can work at our own pace in doing it. So I'm just going to try to knock it out. If I can knock it out tomorrow, I'm knocking it out tomorrow because I need my summer break. This school year has been hell and I need a break. I mean, if I look back at this time last year, I had a really nice school year. The school year was very decent, working for the homeschooling and doing my own thing, contracting myself out, to be people's private homeschool teacher and stuff like that. I can't really complain too much about last year. Last year went fairly nicely. And then the summer hit. And I did my road trip, turned around, went straight into working for the summer, and then had 3 days off and boom, went back to work for the school year. So I feel like I haven't had a break since last May. That's how it feels. So I need a break. No, that's still kind of up in the air as yeah. We're gonna have to Zoom about that one. Because once this week is over, we're having a Zoom so I can tell y'all about my year. Yeah. Yeah. It has been quite interesting, to say the least. It is, as I always say, I can't make this stuff up. I can't make it. I really, really should write a book. But my thing about writing a book is like, I don't even want to protect names. Like, people need to be shown for what they are, but I will consider protecting names. But I really should write a book because I can't make this stuff up. Just can't make it up. I don't know. And I just sit and I think about, growing up and how was I and my schoolmates, how were we as students? How did we teach? How did we treat the teachers? How did our parents treat the teachers. You know what I mean? And it's just like when the parents are liars too, like seriously? Now I see where your kid gets it from kind of thing. And it's ridiculous. I've come to find that there's just like no respect and appreciation for what a teacher tries to provide a student. There's just all these unrealistic expectations from the student and the parent, and a lot of times from the administration as well. And so it's just like, you got to be kidding me, right? You got to be kidding me, right? Y'all saw the meme I sent y'all. Oh, short stories would even be better, like a collection, like a Stephen King book with a bunch of little short stories. Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm telling you, I would blow y'all's mind. Just blow your mind. But yeah, soon we're gonna Zoom, y'all. Soon. And yeah, because it is just too crazy. Too crazy. But I have 3 more days. 3 more days. I was hoping teachers would gain more respect after this. Yeah, you would think. You would think, right? What bothers me is I don't like last minute stuff. Like I don't like last minute stuff. And it never fails. The kids and the parents and everybody want to come with the last minute stuff. And I'm one of those no excuses kind of people. That's me. Because it's like these days we have to take into account everything that a child is going through, all their little emotional things or whatever it may be. We've got to consider all of that. But nobody considers what a teacher might be going through. Nobody bothers to say, how are you doing? Are you doing all right? Are you really okay? Or care to think about the issues that might be going on personally for them. But like I tell my godson, don't go act a fool in class. Go in there and do your work because the teacher has to deal with you and 20 plus other kids. Each of you as students are only dealing with that one teacher. But as teachers, we have to come in and leave everything at the door. But the kids can bring all of their stuff with them. And it's like, by the time you sort through all of their stuff, when does the teaching take place? So I have to excuse this because they're going through this, and I have to excuse this because that happened, and I have to excuse it, and I have to overlook this because of this, and I got to overlook this because of that, and it's just like, when do the excuses stop? When does the accountability and the responsibility take place? You know what I mean? I'm like, when I was going to college, not even just high school, going to college, which is a lot harder than high school. I'm going to college and I'm working full time and I'm going to school full time and I'm busting my butt to make sure that I'm passing my classes and I'm getting my work done. And I didn't expect any professor to hand anything to me. Not at all, you know? And some of my professors were very, very good. They really, really helped me out because they saw how stressed I was and they saw how much I was putting into my job at the time and everything. But I didn't expect a handout from any of them. I busted my butt and I did what I had to do so that I could teach. I didn't go to school full time, work full time, bust my butt to turn around and just give handouts or just take a bunch of excuses from students and parents. That's not what I went to school for. I went to school to be a teacher. And if I were to actually sit and think about my years of teaching experience, I would have to say of the 10 years, there were maybe 4 years where actual teaching and learning really, really took place. Yeah. So it's sad. Education value. Yeah. Yep. And what really still bothers me about this year is like all the stuff that I tried to bring to light all school year really came to light through this distance learning. But yet there's still excuses, there's still passes, and I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Because I guarantee you, this was my thing with this whole distance learning right now. You know, we're like, oh, the kids are having to learn online, the kids are going through a crisis. Yes, they are. And that is very understandable. I don't know what their families are going through. I can't even imagine what their families are going through. But it's almost as if they're the only ones going through it. Did you forget we live in this same world that they live in? We, as their teachers, live in the same world as they live in. We are going through the same crisis with as they are at the same time as they are. Some of us teachers have families. Thank God I don't have a family I have to be concerned about. But some of them have families. They have to be concerned about their families and their students. And it's like we're all going through the same thing. We all had to adjust to the distance learning. Now, it was somewhat of an easy transition for me because I've done a lot of Skype tutoring over the last year. Um, Although this was different than Skype, because when it comes to Skype, I'm being paid per hour for what I do, and also when I'm doing Skype, those kids are really wanting to learn because their parents are paying me, so there's some differences. Um, and plus, I was only responsible for one child in the moment, not several children. So there are some differences there, but I'm like, we're going through the same crisis and we're expected to do our jobs throughout this crisis. And I guarantee you, those kids may not have been getting online and working, but they're probably online on Snapchat and Instagram, and they're probably playing their video games. I know they were sleeping late because they said my Zoom meeting were too early. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what do you mean my Zoom meetings are too early? How is a 10 o'clock Zoom meeting too early if you were coming to school at 8 o'clock? Like, that's the kind of stuff, like, my brain just can't seem to fathom. Like, what? So I don't know. Yeah. I just, I think there has become so much giving in the education system over the years that students and parents, like I said, they just come to expect. They just expect. And I don't think anyone, I'm not going to say anyone, I don't feel that a lot of students feel that they need to work because you know what? If I've always been passed, why do I need to work? And this is something that has always blown my mind. How can you sit in class, you do no work, you turn around, you get your report card, and you have a passing grade? And how can you not be surprised that you have a passing grade? The only reason you cannot be surprised is because you just expect to get one. I would be surprised if I went to work every day and I didn't work and I still got paid, I would be shocked. I'd be like, oh my God, they still paid me. But there's no shock in all. Like, I don't know if they think it just miraculously fell out of heaven, this passing grade. I don't know. It just blows my mind. Because we're just creating this vicious cycle of expecting no accountability, falling further behind. Expecting no accountability, falling further behind. Expecting no accountability. It's just a vicious cycle. And we are not going to be creating citizens that can go out into the real world and be responsible citizens, because they're going to go out in the workplace and they're going to what? Expect. Yeah. Had a student tell me, why I do the work when I know I'm going to. Exactly. Exactly, Raz. Exactly. Why? When I worked for one school district here in San Antonio, which is considered like one of the premier school districts, if not the premier school district in San Antonio, and everybody would be like, you need to go to that district, you need to go to that district. The kids knew that we could only fail 10% of them. They knew that. And they would tell you, well, you can't fail all of us. They knew that we couldn't. They knew it. And I was just like, wow. Then on the flip side of that, I've only had a few parents ever say, I know my child didn't get that grade. Why are you passing them? Or make them earn their grade. But very few, maybe 2, 3 max parents have I encountered like that over my 10 years. And so, I don't know. Yeah, I can't, I told my mom, Raz, I'm tired of the one having to be accountable and responsible. And I'm tired of being the one that's questioned. Because regardless of what they do and don't do, nobody's questioning them. You're going to be the one questioned. You're going to be the one held responsible. And I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair at all. I had a job for pre-K because wow. Exactly, Sherry. That's how it was. That's how it was. So how was this year for you, Raz, getting out? Getting out of the classroom. I mean, I did it for 3 years and I loved it. You know, I loved just doing private tutoring those 3 years. Like I said, the drawbacks to that were, one, traffic, because most of the time I was going to meet with kids after school, and so the traffic was crazy. So, you know, after a few years, I tried to change it around to where I was mainly doing some Skype sessions instead, and I wasn't having to do all that traveling. And then the other down fall about the private tutoring was, you know, money was scarce during holidays and vacations and stuff like that. But otherwise, I loved it. I was so at peace those 3 years. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm tired of being the one that has to be accountable. I just don't understand where this lack of accountability comes from. And that could be written in stone that with a district or a school that the kid is going to be responsible to do such and such and such and such. It could be literally written somewhere, but that is not what they're held to. They're not held to it. That's just me. Yeah, I can imagine that, Raz. But believe me, it was so rewarding. You know what I mean? I felt like my work wasn't in vain those 3 years. And there have been some other years of actually teaching where the work was not so much in vain, but that's been very few years. And then the way my moral compass is set up, it causes me a lot of stress in today's education system because I've always been one to stand for what's right. I'm not a conformist just to keep the peace, you know what I mean? So that has always caused issues for me because I'm going to speak out on what's wrong. I don't care where I'm at. I don't care. I have to. I have to speak out on what's wrong. Now, if I'm not speaking out on it, that means somebody is not going to be able to handle my truth. And that's the only reason why I'm not speaking on it because I just can't be one of those people that just continue to go with it. I see a lot of teachers they just conform and they just do what they know deep down inside is not right, just so they don't have any issues. And we shouldn't have to operate like that. It's like we shouldn't have to operate like that. And I don't know. And then, not knowing what's going to happen with the school system next year with all of this stuff, that just puts even more like concern out there for me. Like, oh Lord, I'm not trying to stand in a classroom and teach with a mask on all day. Um, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be more responsibility put on the teachers, more expected of the teachers. And I'm just like, I don't mind you expecting from me, but the same expectations you have from me, you need to have from these kids and their parents as well, because it's just not the teacher that's going to make this a success. It has to be all parts working together. And I remember one year, one of my classes, I was just so fed up one day, and there was an administrator in my room for the umpteenth time that day because that's how they used to harass the teachers. And I said, if they want me to just pass you guys, I can do that from home. I don't need to come in here, deal with y'all's behavior, deal with y'all's nasty attitudes. I can pass you right from home on the computer. And so I'll never forget it because the kids look for me to the administrator and then they look back to me and I'm like, yeah, I could have my pajamas on and hit a button and just pass you right from home. Why do I need to come in and deal with all the other drama of the classroom if that's what we're going to be doing? And I think I've told y'all how at one of my schools, the admin literally went in and changed my grades, not once, but twice. They went in and did that. I have a feeling most schools are going to do half in the building and half at home. Yeah, I know like they're wanting kids to be socially distanced. It's almost impossible to do that in a school setting. Um, Almost impossible to do that. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to be achieved. The only thing I could think is if they do like block scheduling, you might be able to achieve it that way. But then you're gonna have to stagger how kids come into school, stagger how kids leave out of the school, stagger how kids are moving throughout the hallways. It's just gonna have to be so many logistics, and I don't know if I even want to deal with all of that. Like, and as far as like people are, you know, attracting some kind of virus or something within the schools, the school is like a breeding ground for germs. It is a breeding ground for germs. Kids aren't going to be safe and careful. Like, I have high schoolers that'll just sneeze in the middle of the air like it's nothing. And I'm like, that's nasty. Cover your face. Nasty hands. Like, kids are nasty with, like, when it comes to germs and stuff like that. So I don't know how. mm, I was more concerned with all of that way before a virus came into play. Because when I tell you I went through what? 2 cans of Lysol and a can of Febreze before spring break. That's a lot. I've had Lysol last me for over a year in my house, not in my classroom. Yeah. And my thing is, if they determine they have to continue with this distance learning, there has to be more responsibility put on the kid and the parent. There has to be, because they're not in our presence. You can't hold me accountable when they're not in my presence. So there has to be more placed on that parent and that student if we're going to continue with this distance learning. There just has to be. You know, the system we use, we could see when the kids were on. Those kids were on 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. What does that mean? They're sleeping all day. But yet we were supposed to be available between 8 and 4 all day long. I was scared to leave the house for any little thing. I was scared to close my eyes and fall asleep and take a nap, because you never know. They might call a meeting. You might have to do something. You might get contacted to have to call a parent, email. So it was like walking on eggshells from 8 to 4 every day. And then we're constantly making calls. We're constantly making, um, sending out emails and things like that. I think probably we were the hardest working teachers in our city through all of this, because from what I've heard from a lot of other teachers that are not in my district, they've pretty much had it lax compared to us. No, so I don't know. There has to be more accountability. And we hear, well, the parents are at work, and yeah, I understand that. Guess what? They're at work when their kid is in school too. When they're physically in the classroom, they're at work. But who's responsible for them then? We are. It's all on us. But if they're not in my presence, how can I be so responsible? I know the parents can only do so much if they're at work. But let me tell you what my parents would have done. The old school parents would have done. They come home and they see you haven't done your work, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Okay. It didn't take you 3 months to see that the kid had missing grades. You get notifications. We're calling, we're messaging, we're emailing. You know. Same as if they were in the classroom. So I'm just like, and I tried to tell students from the get, handle the day as if you were still in school and you won't have any problems. If they had just done that, we wouldn't have had last minute stuff trying to get done. We would have had everybody on the right path. Like, I don't know. We gave like course schedules. The parents knew what work was due, what week. My mama would have been on it. Okay. My mama would have been on it. Okay, this is what you had to do this week. Is it done? Show me. Just like with my godson, he kept saying he had done his work, and I told his dad, do not listen to him. You ask the teacher, did he turn in the work? Because he gonna tell you yes, because you sitting over here asleep most of the day. So he gonna tell you yes. You make sure you talk to the teacher to get confirmation. That's what my daughter said. She thought my oldest grandkids were doing this year. They will be kinder and third. It's a couple of days a week and work from home too. That's cool. I think there'll be more. There has to be. There has to be more accountability. I go to answers from teachers. I don't know because I really didn't know. Exactly. And I know we were all like in this together. That's what I wanted people to understand. We're all trying to adjust to this. All of us, not just the kids. And here was my thing. It wasn't like we were leaving kids to just figure it all out on their own. We were still trying to offer some type of instruction. But if you don't get on the meetings and try to set up some tutorials, what can the teacher do? What can the teacher do? I sat on a Zoom meeting by myself last week. I could have gotten off when I saw that nobody was getting on, but I wanted to prove a point. So I stayed on the whole hour. I stayed on that Zoom by myself because we recorded our meetings and I wanted it to be shown that nobody got on there. It was just me. I never had more than 4 kids on a Zoom meeting at one time throughout this whole process. No more than 4 at a time. Yep. So I'm just like, and then like I would be constantly emailing parents. They mainly want us to do phone calls. I have a problem with doing phone calls. I have a whole lot of issues with doing phone calls. One, some parents don't respect your time when you make a phone call. I'm not here to talk to you all day. I just came to say a little bit of something, and I need to get off the phone. That's one issue I have. 2, they want to vent about everything, even their own personal lives, and that's not what I'm calling about. 3, they want to ask you about everybody else's class. No, you need to talk to that teacher. And then 4, I like having proof of my conversation with parents. So I prefer email. That's just me. I prefer email because there's going to be proof of what time, what was said, whether or not you responded, all of that. Okay. So the way we set this up was that they would have to contact us through our secretary if they wanted to call. They were not to call us directly. Now, some teachers were letting parents call them directly. I do not let parents call me. I've never been an advocate of having parents call me directly. No, I don't need you with my personal information. I don't need you calling me all different times of day and night. You need to respect my time. So if they don't call us through the secretary, then the only other way for them to reach us was to email us. So I have proof of all of their contact. A parent can't lie and say, oh, I messaged her or I emailed her and I didn't get any response. No, you can't lie. And that was the one thing that I really loved about this distance learning. Nobody could lie. Nobody could really make excuses. But guess what? They still found a way. Kids couldn't say, I did my work because the system is going to tell me. But yet they still found a way to say that, some of them. And that's what I was loving. That was probably the thing I was really loving. You can't lie now. You can't blame it on me now. But they still found a way. From a time management perspective, emails would be so much more efficient. Exactly, Sherry. Exactly. Because the only time like we would have to make phone calls were during our conference. And a lot of our conference was spent watching other classes because we were short staffed and didn't have a lot of subs. And then a lot of times I tutored kids during my conference because they couldn't stay after school. Um, then you can't really make calls after school if kids are there because you don't have the privacy. You see what I mean? So for me, email is a lot better, a whole lot better. I just want to express my appreciation for you and teachers. Besides graduating honors, it was a difficult transition. There's time Stephanie going to get first. I need to change your profession. Yes, I have seriously considered that, Desiree, and thank you for the appreciation. But I have, because I feel like when it comes to teaching, and it's hard for math teachers, it is so hard for us. And I think it's even harder for me because I'm a high school math teacher. Because we're expected like to really perform miracles. And we get a lot of kids that come to us that already aren't equipped with skills they should have, and then we're expected to just work a miracle. Um, and it's hard. It's so hard on math teachers. Um, but I have considered a change of profession. You know, my degree is in mathematics. It's not in education. I ended up switching my degree to graduate early, which was probably one of the best decisions I could have made. But I figure if I were to stay in education, maybe like Raz said, get out of the classroom. Just get out of that, put that responsibility on somebody else. I've had enough of being responsible and not being appreciated. You know what I mean? It's like, come on now. You can't hold me accountable and don't show any kind of appreciation as well. Like that's just ridiculous to me. But I feel like some of my most appreciative students were some of the first students that I had. And that was some of the craziest years of some of those first years. But even in hindsight, those kids realized how much I was really there for them, you know. But I have considered it. I've considered a change. Um, it's just sad because you want to give, but then you get tired of giving. Like, what am I getting out of this? What am I getting out of this? You know? Um, well, one thing I've wanted to do was start my own tutoring website. I think I still would like to do that. Um, because I do like helping kids in math. But I'll give you the analogy I gave to a class one day. I just got really fed up with one of my classes a couple of years ago. They were just clowning around one day, and I just got fed up, and I was like, "Listen, here I am trying to help y'all." I said, "But just like in a game of football, when the quarterback throws the ball, there has to be somebody on the receiving end. That's the only way that they're going to make a touchdown." I said, "And as long as you guys are not on the receiving end, there's no touchdowns being made. There's no winning taking place here. Because I can keep throwing the ball, but if you ain't trying to receive it, what's the point? What is the point?" So, yes, I have thought about that, Russ. I have. Um, and not to toot my own horn or anything, but I think I'm damn good at the way I offer mathematics instruction. And the way I break something down, the way I'm simplify it, as detailed as I am with it, I feel that I could teach anybody math as long as they pay attention. That's how I feel. And the way I teach it is all based on my own personal experience. You know, it's like all math didn't come easy for me, but I know what helped me succeed in those classes that were challenging. You know, I've always been a teacher to be big on notes. so that kids have something they can refer back to. I let kids use notes on quizzes and tests, and I like to show relevance with mathematics because everybody thinks, well, when am I ever going to use this? So I try to show relevance, try and make it relatable to something in the real world for them. And I even try to make it fun. But there still has to be somebody on the receiving end. Like, there has to be somebody on the receiving end. There have literally been times where I felt like I was talking to myself in the classroom. And I would just start whispering. And then that would make them be like, hey, why is she whispering? And when they'd be like, we can't hear. I'm like, oh, you want to hear what I'm saying? Oh, you're listening? And I always stress the difference between hearing and listening. You can hear me, but it takes you to really focus, really pay attention for you to be listening, and I believe that a lot of children have selective focusing. Because if you can sit in my class and talk to your buddy, or you can sit in your class and try to be on your phone, or you can sit in my class and try to listen to your music, then you know how to focus on something, but it's selective. So, yeah, that's what me and my brother were talking about, Raz. I had almost 30 years behind the hair as a cosmetologist. I always wanted to teach, but I did not live by a school. Oh, wow. Have you thought about, too, Sherry, they have, what is that? I know you could do like videos on, I believe, on Patreon, I believe. What is that site? Master's class or something like that? I'll have to find out what it's called. Schools might even use your videos for a resource, or even other teachers. Maybe teachers pay teachers too. Yeah, I do have a teachers pay teachers account. Because I'm so detailed, it takes me a long time to put stuff up on there. So I only have a few things up on there right now. But all of the projects that I have created and I've tried to implement in the classroom, I eventually want to get those projects up on there and laid out on there. But I want to make sure that everything is detailed so that another teacher that decides to do the project, it's very clear as to how you need to go about it. The rubric is there. Everything that, they could possibly need is there. And and it wouldn't be too difficult for them to adjust the project if need be. But yeah, I'm always coming up with project ideas. For I want to say it was the first or second year that I was only doing private tutoring. I was writing projects for this one company, and then I had another guy pay me to do some math videos. So if you go in like my playlist, I have 3 math videos in that playlist. But I think I hid them because when that whole thing with attracting the kids and stuff, and I knew those videos attract kids and I wanted problems with my channel. But I think I might have hidden those. But yeah, I have 3 videos on there that I created for this one guy. He paid me for those. And then I was, like I said, writing projects for this one company. Then I was like, wait a minute, why am I writing projects for them? I can write projects for myself and make my own money off of these. So yeah, I could definitely do that. We all have life skills, gifts, and sharing. Yeah. Don't make me tell Michelle Turner. I know. Michelle, oh, she will hold me to it. Yes, ma'am, she will. But yeah, these are things that I've thought about, but The way my mind has been with this school year, I haven't had a time to just sit and focus on a lot of the things that like we're discussing right now. Um, so yeah, definitely like a separate channel. Yes. I hate the way I sound recorded. I even hate the way I sound in my videos here, in my planning videos, but it's something I would just have to get over. But yeah. So I was actually like considering like um putting out a survey to parents and see how many of them are thinking about homeschooling their kids next year. How many of them would be willing to pay for a math teacher for their students for next year? Because I can Zoom, I can Skype, you know what I mean? If they're willing to pay and they're serious about it, I could do that. I could set up contracts like I did with my tutoring clients before and just go from there. Now, some of my former tutoring clients still refer people to me, but this school year was just too hard and too stressful for me to try and leave work and do tutoring. It was too much. So I didn't do a whole lot of private tutoring this school year. It was way too much. I was literally drained when I would leave work. And I consider my off time my detox time, and I value my off time from work. I value it greatly. Um, yeah. So there's a lot of things that I have considered, and I am really thinking about putting out a Google form and having people asking people to give me an idea of if they would be willing to hire somebody to teach their kids math. And I figured I could do elementary to high school, and I have certain times for certain grades. Like I know how to schedule my stuff out because doing private tutoring for 3 years, I schedule things very well. I'm very good at scheduling stuff and making it work for me, you know. So, and I wouldn't mind doing that, you know. I do find it a little more draining to try and teach over the internet. Or maybe it was just trying to do it with my current students. Maybe that's just what it was because I don't know. But I would literally, the few Zoom tutorials that I did this last 3 months, I would literally be physically drained when I was done. It would take a toll on me so bad trying to get these kids to understand something over the internet that I would have to go lay down. Like, no joke. I would have to go lay down because it was just stress, you know. And one thing that was frustrating too with the last 3 months was some of the work that we assigned them, we had already covered the work before spring break. So it was very frustrating to me that kids were like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. Well, maybe you should have been paying attention before the break because we already went over this stuff. Like, we literally already went over this stuff. And that was just so frustrating to me. I'm just like, seriously? And I felt like the system that we used, they had some pretty good tutorials on there, but the kids weren't really taking their time going through them. So that was a problem. But yeah, lots of thoughts, lots of ideas. I've thought about the whole instructional coach, math specialist thing. I have thought about that. And the funny thing about that is everybody always seems to think I need an instructional coach, which I think is hilarious. I'm not the problem, people. I'm not the problem. It's not that I don't know what I'm doing. We got to look at what I'm working with here. You know what I mean? It's like, stop expecting miracles. Stop expecting miracles. I don't know. I don't know, y'all, but we are going to have us a Zoom. real soon so I can tell y'all about my yield in even more detail. Okay, that's weird. But yeah, but I'm not going to hold y'all. I've been on for an hour. I know, like I said, I contemplated whether or not to get on here. And I don't know. Well, maybe we'll talk about this next week or something. But from what I gather from some posts, there was some drama on Instagram. I don't know. I was a little confused. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. But because I'm really still confused about what was going on with Instagram and yesterday and the whole Black Lives Matter thing, and there was supposedly some drama in the planner community. So I heard. I don't know. It's just crazy. But yeah, we will talk soon, guys. We surely will. Whew. I'm telling you, if I was one to drink, this year would have made me an alcoholic. I'm not kidding. I'm so not kidding when I say that. That's how crazy it was. But yeah, 3 more days. Hopefully I won't hear the word grade anymore for the next 3 days. And I cringe when I hear it. I shouldn't cringe when I hear that word, but I do. So hopefully I won't hear that word anymore. Thank you, Sherry. Yes, it can. In a hand basket. Yes, it can. Too much craziness. Too much. But I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna need to drink some more water so I can settle my stomach. I might have to go drink me a Sprite. I don't know why I think because I was so hungry earlier and I was just eating too fast. I never eat fast. I'm one of the slowest eaters. Like my brothers get mad because I eat so slow. They hate it like when we're in a restaurant. They're ready to go. They've already eaten their food and they're ready to go. And I'm just still sitting there. And I usually always have to take food to go because I eat slow. So as a teacher, those thinking 30-minute lunches do not work for me. They don't work. Yes. Yes, my mom too, Sherry. That's too funny. But I almost feel like I want to go plan something just so I can calm myself down. But we'll see. Maybe. But I will talk to y'all guys the next time. Until then, y'all stay in prayer, stay safe. Know that Jesus is very, very near, and we need to be ready. And I pray that we all are ready. So I will see y'all on the next episode. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.